Hi guys, so today I just wanted to talk a little bit about technology and apps and the way that we can use these to positively interact with our family members. So I know that there has been a lot of talk about ways that screen time can negatively impact the development of our child's language, and this could not be further from the truth. I know that a lot of times when kids are interacting with screens or were previously with phones and iPads, it was just more passive, and they weren't really getting that input or intervention from anyone else around them, and that was really where the problem was. So what we're learning from research and more understanding is that we really have to take away from the passive parts of them interacting with applications and replace that with more active parts. And we really have to make sure that even if we are using applications and screens, that we're also doing those everyday things like reading books and talking and singing and playing. This is in no way supposed to replace those memories. This is only to try to use a tool so that when we are using the screens, we're using them correctly, and that the children are still able to learn, and that they are able to benefit from the advancements in technology that we're seeing. First of all, I want to disclose that according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, they found no benefits for children to have any screen time exposure under the age of 2. And they felt that there was never needed to be any more than 1 to 2 hours a day of screen time for older children. So given this, and given the circumstances that we're currently in, where a lot of us have been quarantined inside, maybe we've kind of run out of a lot of activities to do, maybe we're having a hard time entertaining our kids, but we really want to make sure that when they are having that inevitable screen time, that we're kind of making the most of it, and that we're still addressing their learning needs, and that we're still serving them in those ways. So I just wanted to go over a few ways that we can use apps in order to enhance family time, and in a positive way. So one thing that we can do is we can play games together with our kids. And we know that that's really what our kids have in mind whenever they think of apps. They want to play really cool games, they want to be entertained. A lot of the times they don't want to be bothered. So, they take the app, they want to go in the corner and they want to play their game, and they don't want us to bother them. Well, we're going to burst their bubble here. So we are going to bother them. A good game that I like to play with a lot of my kids is the My Play Home, My Play Store, My Play School apps. In these apps, there are a lot of different characters, and there are scenes of everyday life. Another thing we can do is read together. So we don't really necessarily always need tangible books in order to read with our kids. I really like tangible books, but sometimes we have more access via an iPad or a phone, where we can get that on, and we really can just get it going right away when we're at the grocery store, or when we're in line somewhere, or maybe when we're waiting for an appointment. So, reading together is awesome. You could do the same things you always do with reading with your child. You can stop, you can have them describe the pictures, we can have them just look at all the pictures and tell us what they think the story is about. We can talk about how the character's feeling, we can make inferences, we can make predictions. We can also, at the end of the story, have the child retell us the story, which works on their story grammar, their memory, all of those things. So that's a really awesome way to use technology for books. One thing that we probably all have done is Facetime. But we don't always have our family members right next to us. Grandma might live far away, aunts and uncles, cousins. So in these times, it's really essential to make sure that they're interacting in a way that is not passive whenever they're talking to the adults and those people in their lives and their loved ones that they don't have access to every day. Exploring the outside world is another really cool thing that we can use apps to do, or even just Google. So if we're at a park and the child sees a beautiful flower that they see that smells so nice, and they say, I wonder what kind of flower this is. Maybe they Google the flower, and maybe you talk about the origin of the flower, and then maybe you take a picture of the flower. They get home and they create a media project of all the things that they saw on their trip, on their little adventure. And then you have them go back and kind of tell you, recap what happened, what was their favorite part of the day, describing the different things in the images by the colors, by their adjectives, the way they looked, the way they smelled. These are all really great ways to use technology to your advantage so that it is not hindering your child's language development, but it is actually progressing it in the way that they can be excited about, in the way that you don't have to be nervous or feel guilt about.